Hey, welcome to my channel all about my borderline personality disorder story. Um, to be honest, I've redone this video like 3 times. Each time I was just not really honest with myself. I was just kind of rushed through it to be done. I'm having a bad day today, so I figured, why not? The coronavirus is just ridiculous. I have cabin fever. I think my phone broke. I'm just kind of having a bad day. So while I'm writing in my blog and just have the opportunity to do this, uh, I am gonna just blab, I guess, and try to be a little more honest about my um, 2 criteria. Uh, so, like my last video, I talked about the 9 criteria and went over a little bit. So this time I'm going to go over my the first two, which was fear of abandonment. So I'm going to go over that one a little bit. And how that started and what that means to me. So I'd have to say I think I always dealt with abandonment. My older siblings, I think, raised me a lot, at least until I was old enough to like fend for myself. My parents, well, my mom and my stepdad were always out drinking, drugs, or whatever. So I think that always played a factor in it. But the first like big impact that I can remember is at my 10th or 11th birthday. My biological father left a birthday card in the mailbox, hand delivered in the mailbox, telling me he was moving away. Happy birthday. See you when I see you, pretty much. And that impacted my life beyond belief because every other weekend was an escape. And it wasn't necessarily his fault, but I blamed him because that was my escape from the abuse, from the yelling, from the fighting, from the drugs, from the everything. At that point in time, me and my sister still got along, me and my brother got along. That was our one place to go where we were actually happy. My dad played with us, we played basketball and badminton, and we were an actual family. That is the only time in my life that I have ever been part of a family. And he took that away from me. He left me with an abusive, mentally, physically, and sexually environment that I never got an escape from. So that was the biggest impact on abandonment. And this just coming to realize this in the last few months. It was like, whoa, wow. And I have never, since that moment, I have either destroyed relationships when they got too close, or they have, I have let them destroy me because they were totally wrong, bad for me, horrible, horrible, horrible. Should never have been in that kind of relationship in the first place. Or I've mistaken it for thinking that it was truly like some love thing, and it definitely was not. There's more to that I'll discuss later, at a different criteria. There's more that goes into that, but and then the second, so abandonment is a big thing, and I guess I need to talk more about abandonment. If I'm being honest, I feel extremely abandoned right now. This is more of my story, and I'm not going to go into all of it right now because if I did, it would be the longest video you ever watched. But I will talk more and more about it as we go. I feel completely abandoned by my family. 2 years ago, for 6 months, I collaborated a story that I was sick and I was dying, but the whole time I had plotted, like, I was going to commit suicide. I did not want to live anymore. I was convinced that my kids were better off without me. I couldn't fucking do anything, excuse my language, I couldn't do anything right. No matter how hard I tried, nothing would ever just work out for me. Relationships never worked out for me. I could never have a friend that didn't stab me in the back. I was lost. I was hopeless. I just couldn't do it anymore. And I was tired of being a fuck up. I literally fuck up everything. And like that was how my mind was. Like, I can do nothing right. And I was convinced of that because the people I let in my life were usually narcissistic tendencies or behaviors, and I allowed them to put me down and manipulate my brain to the point where they didn't make me feel good about myself. I already didn't. I'm my own worst enemy. That's part of what borderline personality disorder is. You hate yourself. You are the devil, and I literally feel like that. One of my siblings. She's treated me that way since I was 14, if not 13 or younger. She just hates me. Like, I can't think of what I could have done to her to be to hated and disgusted so much. So I just was done. I wanted to die. And the reason with the whole plotted story was just to see if anyone cared. Anyone would have cared that I was going to die. And one of those people, like the main one, was that sibling. And it was true the whole time. She didn't give a shit. And not one of these people, not one of them, not one of my family members or siblings even cared to ask me why I was so sad, what was wrong, what made me so sad, how was I feeling, what happened to make me feel that way. They just got mad and abandoned me. And, I ain't gonna air nobody's dirty laundry, but I'm a created borderline that's documented. My family helped create me. They're all mad at me for lying. That's cool. They're all liars too. So, what are you gonna do? Anyway, I have no problem admitting my faults or what I've done wrong. Or what's wrong with me. And I shouldn't have. Like, I wish I would have known now, or known then what I know now, because I wouldn't have. It wouldn't have got this far. It wouldn't be this far. It'd be a whole different story. Like, I shouldn't have gotten wrongly diagnosed so many times. I should have had somebody, the team of people I have now. Like, I should have always had that. That's what bothers me with mental health. I didn't choose this. It's not like a drug addiction. And I know that it's a disease and people would argue with me to the death, but I don't look at it that way. You choose to pick up drugs. You don't choose to be mentally ill. You don't choose to have your brain messed up. You don't choose that stuff. Like, I didn't choose this. And the, like, emotional pain that a borderline feels is crazy. And you can be fine 1 second and smell something or look at something, or just your mind instantly thinks about something that could cripple you. It's just sad. So anyway, abandonment is a big deal. And through this whole coronavirus thing, I've been feeling really lonely because I don't get to go anywhere or do anything. So that it's been especially hard. I'm gonna get emotional, but it's part of it, I guess. If I'm gonna do this blog, I guess you get to see me cry. The second one is into problems with interpersonal relationships. Let me get that exact. All right. Pattern of unstable and intense interpersonal relationships characterized by alternating between extremes of idealization and devaluation. Okay, so what that means is one day you got somebody on a pedestal, and then the next day you knock them completely off. Or you can go one day loving somebody, the next day hating them. And that's that is very true. I do that. But usually I feel like it's always been a validated reason. Like, I beg you, I tell you, and then it always comes back to some sort of, I still care about you. Like, I hate you for a while, but then I come back and I still care about you. Friendships, not really. But I have friends that are typically users. I've just had worse friends. Get me in trouble. I just don't have good friends. Now, I'm going to sit here and say that, okay, so what I do is I'm your best friend. I will give you the shirt off my back. I give you all my money. I freaking give you everything I have until I have nothing left to give. And then I'm done. I'm done personally. I'm done financially. I'm done, just done. And then I break down and I'm just done up. And I don't know what to do, and I don't know how to get myself back up, and I give up, and so I burn that bridge. And I say I burn that bridge, I'm putting gas on it, I'm putting everything flammable on that thing, and then I'm like taking the ashes and I'm burying them, and I'm spreading them out all over the world to make sure that bridge can never be put back together. Like, when I burn a bridge, I burn it. And 99.1% of the time, that's the way that I needed to do that, because that person was no good for me anyway. But I would like to say that there's probably 4 people out there that actually probably was a friend. Probably really would have took their shirt off their back for me. But I didn't see it that way. I didn't view it that way. I just seen them like everybody else. And I needed to get away from them before they hurt me, before they had a chance to hurt me. So it really sucks having to learn all this stuff. And now I'm like being self-aware. It's really difficult because you're constantly like, and I only have one person in my life, and I am constantly having to reassess everything in my brain. Okay, so you're mad at him. Are you mad because you're mad, or are you mad because it's BPD? Or are you crying because you have a reason to cry? Or are you crying because it's BPD? Like, it's constantly like, okay, do you hate him right now because BPD? Or are you hating him right now because you really want to leave and act a fool because it's rational? And always, every time, no, you're being ridiculous, Savannah. Well, I think I'm just going to wrap it up because this is already a 19-minute video, and who wants to sit and watch a video for 20 minutes? But stay safe and away from the coronavirus, and see you next time. Hopefully you're having a better day than I am.